AskReddit by Roastmaster 2000. What's going on right now that most people have no idea about? The co-director of the Melanoma Institute in Australia and world-leading melanoma pathologist Prof. Richard Scolyer is fighting a terminal brain cancer glioblastoma. He and his co-director, and best friend, Georgina Long are using the research and knowledge that have gained through fighting melanomas to find a cure for this currently incurable cancer. He is the first human trial for a cancer vaccine alongside personalized immunotherapy. Pretty amazing that someone with so much knowledge in the area of cancer treatments can fast track a potential cure for this brain cancer. I hope it goes well for him. I lost my dad to that. It will be 2 years in March that he passed away. This gives me hope that others will not have to suffer the way my dad did. It's a horrible way to go. And extremely hard and heartbreaking for families. I watched my father become a shell of himself. At the end he couldn't walk, talk. Didn't even know my mom who he was with for 53 years. Bill in the US Senate to ban major corporations from buying homes. Forgive me if even I missed a detail. Hilarious how little coverage it's getting. Oh please let this go through. Lake Mead water levels are 20+ feet higher than last year. That's a lot. It's a lake, so is this good or bad? They discovered a new antibiotic that kills MRSA. Wait, that is actually amazing. It takes 100x more time to develop a new antibiotic than any other drug. The Ocean Cleanup Initiative has a new system to clean up an area the size of a football field every 5 seconds. The previous one extracted 282,787 kilograms of trash from the Pacific Ocean so far. They're also working on interceptors for rivers that have collected over 840 tons of trash and counting. There's a long way to go, but they have lots of support and they're making amazing progress. Okay, now back to the bad news. Thanks so much for sharing this. The greater one-horned rhino population in India and Nepal is growing, as highlighted in the State of the Rhino Report, 2023, by the International Rhino Foundation. The collaboration among India, Bhutan, and Nepal, along with strict government protection and management, has led to an increase in their population over the past decade. The greater one-horned rhino population, which once numbered as low as 100 in the early 1900s, has increased to more than 4,014 now. Finally, some good fucking news in this thread that isn't about someone's bowel movements. In Quebec, the entire public system, teachers, nurses, healthcare, etc., has been on strike since the 13th of November. Kids have been out of school for close to 5 weeks now and teachers have not gotten paid since. Our government is refusing to give higher pay and better work conditions to the backbone of our province. I'm in Toronto and had no idea this was happening. A fox and a deer are friends in my backyard. They like to cuddle together by my shed. Or any pictures? Alex Batty, a young boy from Manchester, UK, who disappeared in 2017 in Spain whilst on holiday with his mother and grandfather, was found alive a few weeks ago in France after he'd been walking for 4 days to escape a religious commune, and being spotted by a delivery driver in Toulouse, he was returned home just before Christmas. He's 17 years old right now for anyone wondering, and he went missing when he was 11 HTML. Edit. Here's a better article about the story thanks to you Princess of Thieves and others for pointing out some issues with the first one. https://www.bbc.co.uk/news/UK-6771815 right square bracket open bracket https://www.bbc.co.uk/news 67,718,158 also obligatory. Thanks for the likes everyone. We are experiencing both. Child. https://blogs.worldbank.org/education new-literacy-data-shines-spotlight-learning-crisis and adult literacy, https://www.proliteracy.org/wp-content/uploads/2023/pl-adult basic education-factsheet-246.7.pdf crises predating but exacerbated by COVID. Edit. The people telling me in the comments that these predated COVID, as explained in my one-sentence post, are proving my point. Kids that didn't have very involved parents got destroyed during COVID and teachers were pretty much forced to push them through. There's a huge amount of carbon stored in permafrost, an estimated 1,500 gigatons, or twice as much as the atmosphere contains. It's a good thing it's permanently frozen then. The largest title company in America has been completely breached, First American, in a ransomware attack. No one is acting like this is as seismic as it is. I'm still harping on how Equifax should have gotten the corporate death penalty for their data breach years back, especially considering the negligence that went into it. This sounds like another company that deserves it. The ones that we put so much trust into with our most sensitive information shouldn't be allowed to fall short in their care of that data. The IRS is trying to figure out the best way to catch the thousands of Americans who stole billions of dollars through the Employee Retention Credit. So many businesses claimed the credit who didn't deserve it. The credit created an entire industry of nefarious accounting companies who specializes taking advantage of this credit. Science is kicking cancer's ass. Almost every cancer has had treatments and drug breakthroughs in the last decade, and it keeps improving with more funding and research. Man, I know, and I'm so fucking glad the meds my baby brother is on that came out within the past year are working fucking wonders. They literally saved him from needing brain surgery. Honestly, the call on the good news of his MRI after being on those meds for only 3 months was the best fucking news of my life, and medical technology is literally only getting better. We are likely very close to a vaccine for breast cancer. There are several versions now in the human trial phase that seem to be working. Somebody told them to hurry up. My wife has metastatic breast cancer now and we can't wait long. For those who use or are considering using Depo-Provera birth control, don't do it. Those of us who were on it for years have developed osteoporosis and degenerative disc disease. Supposedly there is a black box warning, but patients only see the filled injection needle. We never saw the box. And doctors didn't tell us. So I am 46-year-old this year with the degenerative spine of a 70-plus-year-old woman. There is no reversal. I was on it for about 10 years. 8-9 years ago my midwife Jin was like, "Why on earth are you on this? It's not meant to be taken this long." I said, "No one told me. I seem to be okay. I'm 40 now, but I got on it at 18. I'm sure doing something for that long will have some sort of consequences." The absurd amount of insider trading that takes place every time a company is bought out. Fun fact: unique studies done during the pandemic indicated that working from home resulted in a 5-fold decrease in incidents of financial misconduct among traders compared to working in office. Guess which industry was one of the first out of the gate pushing for a return to office? The war on water resources. It needs to be a big deal, but it ain't. I remember when some folks down in the American SW suggested piping water from the Great Lakes to help maintain population growth farming in the region. People up north here got really mad about even the suggestion. Seems like only a precursor. I wish people would stop moving to places where big cities are just not practical. There is a treatment for prostate cancer that uses sound waves to cook only cancer cells. Has no side effect and works as well, if not a lot better, than the old way of surgery and chemotherapy radiation, which has a lot of brutal side effects. You feel fine within a few hours and by the next day you can be back doing your thing cancer free. It's by a company called Profound Medical and it is the Tulsa procedure and is available in many clinics in the US and Canada. This is really specific. Gunnison Valley, Gunnison, Crested Butte, and Almont, Colorado is where the Gunnison River starts. The Gunnison and the Upper Colorado River join to make the Lower Colorado River, which is an extremely important source of water and power for the western states. The Gunnison provides most of the water to the Lower Colorado. So, if we don't get snow in the valley, then Las Vegas and the farmers out west are fucked. We've barely gotten any snow and there is 0 in the forecast. If something doesn't change, y'all are going to have a rough summer down there. I did part of my master's thesis on you guys. There's a guy in NC browsing the tax office record of deeds to find business owners who haven't paid their taxes in order to pay off the taxes himself and then get the deed, then extorting the owner or evicting them and selling their property, all under the protection of the law. Is this only businesses or can it be done to homeowners? I have a few friends behind on their taxes that might need my help. My mom has been cancer free for a year. Cats all have coronal cells. Sometimes they mutate and the cat developed FIP. Feline infectious peritonitis, a disease 100% fatal in 2018 with nothing that helped. It is terrible to see a cat die this way. 90% of them did in less than 50 days. While the island of Cyprus was having an outbreak of FIP and many cats were dying, they also had access to surplus COVID vaccines for human. They started using these to give the cats with FIP and what was a 100% feline death sentence before. Now 95% are surviving and disease free. How about the total commercialization of the internet? It started as a wild west of entertainment, news, information. Now there are daily propaganda and agendas that get consumed en masse. There are entire swathes of commercialized psychologists finding how to squeeze profit from you on almost every single app, game, streaming service, you name it. There are advanced AI being used by core to lock you in cages of your own design. So comfortable and cozy that you'd be crazy to disconnect or complain. But why would you want to know that you are just a slave to forces beyond comprehension as long as you are here and a slave your own compulsions? That morality has long fallen by the wayside. We don't even see things like gore, porn, racism as particularly degenerative anymore. We just consume. The great inshitification of the internet. There are a significant number of lunar landings by robotic vehicles scheduled for 2024. Traffic jams on the moon.